I'm not angry and I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised when students lose $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000 in the beginning. Almost all my top students lose in the beginning. So some people say, oh, Tim Sykes is a scam. You know, his students lose, especially in the beginning. 90% of traders lose all the time, not just in the beginning. My lessons might be counterintuitive. They might be a little difficult to take in and really optimize in the beginning when stocks are moving fast and you don't have a lot of experience, but it gets easier over time. What's up? Tim Sykes here in LA for a day before Miami. Yesterday was Bali. 3 days from now, I'll be in Turkey. I'm all over the place. A few weeks ago, I was in Dubai. If you click the 4 links below, I did 4 specific videos with Jack Kellogg. Pretty much arguably the best penny stock trader of the past 3 years. He's now over $12 million in trading profits. He's really pushed it. I'm really proud of him. And to celebrate him crossing over 12 million, we went to Dubai. We did like a hot air balloon ride. We were quadding. We were dune smashing. We went to the world's tallest building. We ate some good food. We walked around. We had just a lot of fun for a few days. But we also did some interviews. And if you click the 4 links below, you can watch these. I guess, can we do the other 4 videos that we filmed in New Hampshire too? Because there's 8 videos, right? And I call it like the Valet series because Jack used to be a valet. Can we insert a video of him trying to park my car in Italy and failing? Because I'm glad he became a stock trader because his valet skills, like not a good valet anymore. I'm not a good tennis player anymore. You adapt, you try to get better at certain things. But Jack is now an amazing trader, and more importantly than just trading, like he's a really nice guy, he's a humble guy, he's got a really good head on his shoulders and good perspective, something I was lacking in my early 20s, and most of my 20s, and my early 30s. Really awesome to talk with him, but I want to just review some of the biggest lessons from his journey. We'll call it 12 lessons from $12 million because there are a lot of lessons, and I think it gets a little complicated because, trading is very complicated, right? Like it's not like an exact science. What works for Jack or what works for me might not work for you. Many students who watch Tim Grittani's Trading Tickers and Trading Tickers 2 try the strategy, they get obliterated because his strategy is really good for patient people or people with big accounts or experience. Newbies, not so much. So I think lesson number 1 from Jack's $12 million in profits is he really used different strategies at different times. The strategies that he now uses with $12 million don't work for people with small accounts. But when he had a small account, he really optimized trading my own 7-step framework. He still, to a degree, uses the 7-step framework like it's like the basis for all of his trades, but not to a T. He doesn't really do OTC trades anymore. He said the other day when I was saying how he was dealing with choppy stocks, I was like, come back to OTCs. And he's like, no, you can only make $5,000 or $10,000 a day in OTCs, which is too low for him. Already in 2023, in just the first 3 months, he's made over $1.5 million. So he's got bigger fish to fry right now. Recognize small account strategies are what I teach. Big account strategies are what most of my Millionaire students use later on. I'm just training wheels. So that's lesson number 1. You got to put the proper emphasis on the proper syllable. You don't want to take a big account strategy with a small account. You don't want to take a small account and try things that frankly aren't suited to small accounts. Lesson number 2, it's a journey. I know you want to trade with a big account, but also Jack has been doing this for several years. In fact, his first year, when he joined my challenge, paying me several thousands of dollars for the challenge. We'll post a link to the challenge. This is where all my 30+ Millionaire students come from. Jack and all of them paid a few $1,000s. After all that, after paying a few $1,000s, after being in all the webinars, watching the video lessons, trading for a year, he had lost $2,600. This is arguably the best penny stock trader of the past 3 years. In his first year, he lost. So he's down nearly $10,000 his first year. But he learned. He didn't just lose and hodl and hope and gamble. He was learning. He was tinkering. You have to sometimes lose a little to get better over time. This is lesson number 3. It's not always, profit, 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 profit. There will be losses, and sometimes you need to go backwards in order to go forwards. Like, you need to learn what not to do. I'm not angry and I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised when students lose $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000 in the beginning. Almost all my top students lose in the beginning. So some people say, oh, Tim Sykes is a scam. His students lose, especially in the beginning. 90% of traders lose all the time, not just in the beginning. My lessons might be counterintuitive. They might be a little difficult to take in and really optimize in the beginning when stocks are moving fast and you don't have a lot of experience, but it gets easier over time. You have to be willing to take the short-term hits. And this is why I say start with a small account. Don't trade with a big account. I don't want anyone losing $50,000 or $100,000 in like month one or year one because they trade with too big of an account at first. Take small losses. Kyle Williams is over $4 million. He blew up his first account. Tim Grittani is over $15 million now. He blew up his first account. They all lost $1,000, $2,000 while learning, losing $50, $100, sometimes making $50 or $100. Lesson number 4, be flexible, okay? Jack has really adapted over the years, going long, going short, sometimes holding overnight, sometimes swinging stocks for a week or two. The more strategies that you can test and optimize, the better your odds of success in changing markets. I'm not saying do 100 strategies. I'm not saying take 50 positions, but just a few strategies and try a few different positions. We have this tendency where we want everything to be neat and orderly. Like, I have 2 wins, I have 1 loss. I have 3 wins on the day, 0 losses. Like, you want to simplify things. If you are going to become my next 7 or 8 figure student, you're going to have to be willing to get messy a little bit. There's a saying like you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Be willing to adapt, be willing to learn, be willing to lose while learning. Lesson number 5, Jack is now having success, like I said, over $1 million already in 2023. I think he made, $2 million last year and like $6 million the year before when it was just crazy. But again, this is after 2, 3, 4 years of hard work and studying. You can't make millions in the beginning. None of my top students made $1 million in year 1 or year 2. Most of my top students made little to nothing in the beginning. If you want to succeed in the long run, you have to build a foundation of knowledge. And while you build a foundation of knowledge, expect to make little to nothing or even lose. You're not trying to get as profitable as you can in 2023 if you're just beginning. You should use, if you're just beginning, whether you began in 2020, 2021, 2022, any of those 2 or 3 years or this year, use this year to build your foundation of knowledge, okay? Then you're trying to make 2024, 2025, 2027, 2029, 2032. Those are your years to shine. That's the cool thing. What lesson am I on? 6. Lesson number 6, you don't have to rush this, okay? Everyone thinks like, oh, you have to become like a master baseball player, you have to become a master basketball player to make the major leagues or the NBA because you have a cutoff, right? Like all the professional athletes become experts by the time they're 20, 25, 30, and then it's over. By the time you're 40, unless you're Tom Brady and in denial, you're not going to play professional sports. And Tom Brady probably should have quit a year earlier. His life probably would have been better. The best traders and investors that I know, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They have 10, 20, 30 years of experience. So you're building a foundation that pays off over time. Lesson number 7, not all years are created equal. 2020, 2021, Jack made a lot of money, but 2022, 2023, even though he's still made over 7 figures, he's made less than he made in 2020, 2021 because there's not as much volatility, there's not as many opportunities. I think you could say he's taking better trades, specifically from a risk management point of view, and he's more comfortable because now he has experience trading with size. But you can't always just say, I want to make more and more and more and more. The stock market doesn't work like that. The strategy that I teach doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. I want you eventually building your account and wealth over time, but you might not be going up every single year. You might not be very gradual. You might have a loss 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. What if you lose $3,000 each of your first 3 years and you're down $9,000? But because you lost and you learned what not to do and you learned the proper size and what patterns work best for you, year 4 you make $1 million. It's possible. That's pretty much what Jack Schwartz did. He made nothing his first 3 years. Year 4, year 5, Jack Schwartz. Not Jack Kellogg, but Jack Schwartz made a lot. Sometimes you have to really understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Jack Kellogg does. What lesson am I on? 8? Lesson number 8, I think the best example, the best lesson here is that Jack really stays humble. Despite all of his success, he doesn't really have that many material possessions. He gifted his mom and dad each like $50,000 in cash. He's not spending it. He's looking at like potentially buying houses in the future, but he's researching. He's very meticulous, and him and I are very similar because like we're both in, we're Connecticut boys. People have said like we look alike. I look like his father or something. I don't know. We're from small towns in Connecticut, millions of dollars, even $100,000 is a lot in the communities in which we were born and raised. But he's managed to stay humble. You must stay humble throughout your journey. Whether you make a lot, whether you don't, if you ever get too cocky, the market will humble you. The market will bring you back down to size in a very unpleasant way. I've seen a lot of students, a lot of non-students, traders who are just like, I don't need your rules, Tim. You're slow. Your gains are too small. They go big and they blow up. Gamblers blow up. Hodlers blow up. So you don't need to risk blowing up to make a lot of money. You do need to trust the process. This is what Jack has done. Lesson number 9. Lesson number 9, be willing to expand your mind. If you talk to Jack, he knows that he's really tuned in and honed in on trading. Outside of trading, he hasn't traveled that much. He doesn't know that much about the world. Remember, he just had a few $1,000s to his name just a few years ago. He was parking cars in Connecticut. He was selling bamboo pillows in a Connecticut mall. If you click the links below and watch the earlier episodes, you'll be shocked at what he was doing before he became a multimillionaire. But he knows what he doesn't know. He knows that his view is limited. So now he's traveling more to get more knowledge. Fun fact about going to Dubai, everyone in his life was worried about him because Dubai, the Middle East, if you're growing up in, with the bumpkins in Connecticut and in these small towns, people are scared of the world, and specifically the Middle East. And we're staying at this 5-star hotel. Dubai is very safe for tourists. It's not necessarily like the rest of the Middle East. There's a difference. And I was like, Jack, take a picture of this hotel. Send this to your family. Does this look like a scary place? The point is, Jack is open-minded, and he loved Dubai. We had some amazing food. It was really an eye-opening experience for him, and I love showing people new things. I've been to Dubai many times. I find myself going back more and more. Don't give in to your fears. Don't give in to narrow-mindedness. Be open-minded and explore the world. We live in a fascinating time in history where you can do anything you want, you can achieve anything, you can be anyone that you want. But you do have to study, right? Jack is humble, but he's still very hardworking. Lesson number 10? Lesson number 10, I think it does come down to hard work. Jack didn't know everything in the beginning. Like I said, he lost money. He still doesn't know everything. He's still humble. But every single day, every single week, he's learning. He's tracking his trades. He's doing spreadsheets. He's uploading all of his trades on Profitly. He's holding himself accountable. Many people don't hold themselves accountable in this industry. You like to forget about your losses. You don't want to think about this. You try to brush it under the rug. If you look on Twitter, 100% of traders are profitable. No one ever loses. In reality, we know from academic studies galore, 90% of traders lose. Don't pay attention to traders who show a big screenshot here or there. You got to see every trade, okay? Because any big trade that anyone does, if they're learning the right way and trading the right way, those big trades are set up by small losses. You learn what not to do. You learn how to control the risk. You learn, maybe you think a sector has momentum or a stock has momentum, and then the momentum stops. And then you ideally, go into a new sector or a new stock. You adapt, you pivot. The biggest gains that I have are built on the smallest losses that I have. It's not the end of the world to lose. You should take note of your losses. Even Jack Kellogg, one of his biggest losses, we talk about this often, MMNFF. He kept dip buying. And some dip buys, they just don't bounce. You can't just keep adding. MMNFF and all the marijuana stocks never bounced. They didn't follow the 7-step framework. The 7-step framework that I teach is not an exact science. It works more times than not, but any one play can go wrong. Jack was also shorting HKD, which is the short squeeze that blew up many traders. He did lose, but he controlled his losses relatively well given his trading account. He still lost 6 figures, but he didn't lose 7 figures. That's the key, okay? It's always that one trade that gets away that can really ruin you. So stay safe, stay humble, track your trades, always try to do better. Learn from your mistakes, learn from your successes. What lesson are we on? 11? Lesson number 11, I really, really like changing people's lives. It's not even about Jack. This lesson is about me. Like, I legit can't think of another job that I would do with so much passion and so much hard work. Just like Jack is working on optimizing and tracking his trades every day and learning, I'm doing the same with my teaching. I'm always looking at what works for students. I'm trying to make trades, not even based on profits, because I trade for charity. Whatever I make goes to charity. So it's not in my own best interest to make like a lot of money and have like bad rules. Like if I just gamble, if I just say, screw it, I'm just gonna gamble, screw Sykes's rules. If I'm like living outside my own head, if I ever get too cocky, right? I get more fulfillment from teaching others. And Jack is a shining star in the galaxy of my students, but he just exemplifies why I love this job so much. And it was very cool to, celebrate with him and treat him to Dubai, and really just see how his life has changed. I cannot implore you enough to be dedicated in your studies, to really take this seriously. Jack is not the smartest, okay? Jack is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the smartest. Neither of us are that good at math, but we really made a life for ourselves and got financially free through hard work, determination, and grit, okay? If you click the links below and you see what Jack had gone through earlier on, like some of the previous videos that we did where he talks about trading through mono and strep at the same time. That was his dedication. And again, if you're sick, go see a doctor. I think that was a mistake, but it's just an example of how passionate he is. Lesson number 12, this can happen to anybody. Like people say, oh, Tim, like you're so smart or you're so lucky. And they say that about my students too. 30 plus students now. Jack has just pushed it with his size and his aggression and his ambition. But none of my Millionaire students or I are that special. Just being real. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I just want you to understand where people think like, oh, that'll never happen to me. It can. It won't happen randomly. You can't just gamble. You can't just invest in like a lotto ticket. You're going to have to do thousands of trades, go through the ups and the downs, build a foundation of knowledge and experience. But it can happen to you if you take this seriously. And that's why I do these videos. I'm not even going to edit this. I don't even know which number we're on. I guess that's 12. I guess we finished. Yep. How long is this video? I don't even know.
18.
All right, so I just want you to understand, I want you to see that I'm not that organized. I have no Excel spreadsheets. I probably could do better if I was like Jack. I'm not the only one in this doing amazing. I think I actually probably could do better, but it's also a little too late for me. I'm focused on creating millionaires rather than my own process. When I'm typing out an alert and I'm in a trade, I probably should be watching the trade and not typing. But I'm thinking about how can my students learn in real time? How do I get through to you that you can do this, that this can work for anybody if you have enough patience, if you have the right mindset, no matter if you're negative, no matter if you're doubting, no matter if you have some negative, toxic person in your life. Jack did not have all supporters in his life. Early on, if you click the links below and watch more about his life, you'll see people doubted him. Even family members doubted him. Same thing with me. I haven't always had positive people in my life. I still don't always have positive people in my life. I come to LA a lot and there's a lot of fake people in my life here. And I just give air kisses and say, oh, good to see you again. And I try to adapt to the jungle that is LA. I don't necessarily like it, but that's the world, okay? And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to be blunt about everything. It might make some enemies. It might make some fans. It doesn't matter to me. if I can somehow transfer this knowledge to you, if I can somehow get all of this into your head, I know it can only help you. So thank you, Jack. Everyone, please leave a comment below. Congratulate Jack on his success. Congratulate him on having the right mentality, and thank him for being so transparent about all of his wins, all of his losses, all of his lessons. He doesn't have to share this stuff with you. He wants to. He takes pride in the community. He loves helping other people. It's just very cool. And I'm very grateful for Jack. I want more students like him. So click some links below. See his journey. $12 million so far. We'll see what he does in the future. I tell him, relax a little, enjoy life. He's gotten much more healthy. I'll give you a bonus lesson. Lesson number 13, health is wealth. When he was making so much, he didn't have good health. And even though he was making a lot, I was like, yo, you need to chill. If you're dead, if you're really permanently sick, you can't enjoy life no matter how much money you make. So don't get too sick. Don't get too obsessed. If you feel like you're on the verge of burnout, it's okay to take some time off. It's okay to take a day off, go to a spa, go walk, go work out. Don't burn out. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm excited to see what Jack can do, and I'm excited to see what you can do. That's today's message. I have to go to LA and be fake. Air kisses.